Welcome to this week's show, The Crazy Gentleman Podcast. I'm your host, The Crazy Gentleman. This week's show is brought to you by Simbita Custom Knives, Simbita_custom_knives on Instagram. Go find him. His name is Evan. Tell him I sent you. Give him a call. Makes the world's finest hunting knives, as you guys know. Bare Knuckle Performance, bareknuckleperformance.com. The world's best parts made in America for your Harley Davidson and Indians now. All of those Indian models, all those Harley models, FXRs, Dynas, Sportsters, Softails, your custom choppers, whatever. You know the deal. Paul's got you covered. He's the best in the business. And Lexan Moto, Lexan-Moto.com for the best audio inside your helmet. Punch in the code word crazy at checkout for 15% off. And that's it, man. Off to the races today with an awesome one. The man from Canada. You're gonna upset a lot of people, by the way. I didn't tell you this, but I got a lot of Canadian friends that have been wanting to connect here.
Oh yeah.
And you're the first Canadian, man.
Cool.
And I got a few race car guys that want to connect.
Oh great.
And you're the first race car guy.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, man. I had to take advantage while you're in the States.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. I got to thank Dozer too.
Yes.
And what would you call it? The Lightning Bolt Show?
The Lightning Bolt Show.
The Lightning Bolt Show, man. Kevin Dunworth couldn't have been a nicer guy. And everyone at BMW, all the Germans, couldn't be nicer. So thank you guys all.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have never met you.
It was a pleasure to meet you this weekend, and it's nice to be in the city, and spent a lot of time here over the years. But it's nice to get back, and certainly nice to have hooked up with you yourself and see what we can do here.
So speaking of being back, have you spent a lot of time in New York City in the past?
Yeah, a few years ago, I built the American Dream Mall in the Meadowlands in Jersey. So, spent 3 years here, and my daughter goes to school here. She goes to Marymount College, so we get the city quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
We certainly enjoy the city. Always come for the Indian Larry block party, of course, and usually bring a pretty cool chopper and show it off. So we've got another bobber that is just about done paint right now that we'll have ready for the show this year. So
cool,
hooked up with John the painter there, and we're making some headways. Brian Helm, of course, with his photography. So just throwing that in for those guys.
He's one of my Canadian friends. He's going to be upset.
Yeah, that's all right. Brian's a pretty cool guy. He's out west right now. We kind of missed him this weekend, but we got hooked up with the Mad Stork last night, so it was good to see him. And shout out to him. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. Ken's like the mayor of motorcycles, man.
He's a pretty neat guy. So
he gets around.
And Brian is just a world-class photographer. He just does some really cool stuff. He's a gentleman. He's just a great guy. So wish we had hooked up with Brian, but he's off videoing, I think, Danger Dan. I think he's still with Dan somewhere out west doing something.
Yeah, so I think they just got back to Texas.
I think that's where they are, yes.
Yeah. He's probably planning on being, I want to say one of those shows in Texas is next weekend. He probably plans on, I forgot what show is there next weekend, but anyways. I do think Brian is going to be like our generation's Michael Lichter.
You know what? There's a lot of similarities there. Michael is very, very talented, of course, over the years, but Brian just has a great eye. A lot of the angles that he gets are just, extremely well proportioned. He's got a great eye. Just a super eye.
Yeah, he's a talent, man. He's a wizard with the camera, really.
That he is. And he's a great guy. He's a lot of fun to be around, and he's just a good person.
Yeah. There's very few people too that are really traveling that much on a motorcycle with a camera. He's like really doing it, man.
He's capturing everything.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Did you meet Brian in Canada somewhere, or did you meet him in America?
I met him in America. It was probably a few years ago. I think at the TMMR, the Loretta Lynn bike and music festival that goes on in May. I think I met him there, but I'm pretty sure I met him in Sturgis a few years ago, and we've always stayed in contact. And of course, he knows my son Puff really well, and they kind of travel around in the same circles.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I got to meet Puff one day.
Oh, Puff's he's quite a Puff. He's a pretty cool guy.
All right.
Yeah. He's your 25-year-old 1960s biker. Like he's just he's a biker, right?
He's just out there living it.
Yeah, he just not a care in the world. Goes to all the events, has a lot of fun, makes a lot of friends.
Yeah.
He's just a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he also involved in the cars?
No, not so much. He's more into the motorcycle scene, and the car scene's really not his thing. Like he owns a pickup truck, but I don't think he really drives it very much. He'd sooner be on his motorcycle and bombing around, and he's not into the racing scene at all. He does work for the company. He travels around and delivers parts, and he drives one of the rigs to all of the events. So he does that part of it, but does he have a passion for it? No, not at all.
Okay.
No.
How many kids do you have? You mentioned you have a daughter also.
Yeah, I have 3. My oldest daughter, Mackenzie, is a professional photographer, and she travels all over the world and photographs equine events. So right now
cool.
She's been in Spain for a couple of months. I think she's heading to Portugal. She literally travels all over the world and does all the big EFI events, all the equestrian events in the world, like the top events in the world. So she's pretty busy doing that. And Buff, of course, his name's Nick. He's my son, and he works for us and for our companies, our group of companies. And then I have a younger daughter that goes to school here at Marymount College in the city. So
cool, man.
Yeah.
Are you guys horse people too? Is that how your daughter got in?
We used to be. My daughter was a Canadian champion, grand champion actually, at the age of 13, and she got a scholarship to TCU. She went to TCU and down to Fort Worth, Texas, and she eventually got out of it. Too many concussions.
Really, you don't even really associate that much with horses, but
they fall off. It's
a pretty high fall.
Yeah, so she had 2 or 3 pretty serious ones. So we kind of pulled back on that, and she had such a keen eye for the sport, being in it, that she does very, very well with the equestrian photographer. And she's like Brian. She's kind of got a really, really good eye for it, because if you've got a passion for something, you're going to be able to see it a lot differently than others do, right?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So did you ever push the motorsports or the motorcycles on or try to get him into it?
Well,
or just kind of let it happen?
Well, I'll tell you, for Nick, for his 16th birthday, he was kind of an introverted kid. He played a lot of video games and things, and so what I did was I built him a bike, and a 1999 Softail, and I took him out in the driveway, and I said, okay, so this is your Harley Davidson. This is gonna change your life.
Yeah,
Just
and it did.
Remember, from this day forward, this is going to change your life. It's going to mold your personality. It's going to show you things that you've never seen. And to this day, I don't think he's played too many video games since that. So it's been almost 10 years. Kind of threw him right into the deep end. A month after he got his bike license, we were off to the Tail of the Dragon. So we rode the Tail of the Dragon and did the Blue Ridge Parkway for 10 days, and he's been riding 2 Up ever since. And we've done several trips to Sturgis and several trips all over the U.S. Him and I, during COVID, we rode choppers from Canada to the Indian Larry Block Party through, we came through upstate New York, and, blew the stator on his bike the first day out. So we were, jerry rigging stuff all the way back and forth, and got into the city and went to the block party. So that's kind of been a thing for us every year, is to get into the block party. And now this year is the 20th. So, could be the last. Nobody really knows, but
yeah,
we want to make sure that we're doing it. But we always ride these really cool choppers here. We don't
Yeah.
put them in a trailer and bring them. We ride them, and you know, that's kind of what makes it, you know, so nostalgic for us, is that we ride what we build, and you know, Nick certainly rides what he builds, and he gets on it, and he puts on a lot of miles every year. Oh yeah, he puts on a lot of miles.
Yeah, that's what it's all about too, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
these garage and trailer bikes, man. Some of them are cool, but they're meant to be ridden.
Yeah.
That's really what they're here for.
Well, we have, like, at our shop, I think we have 37 bikes that are licensed and insured, and we actually,
that you would consider your personal bikes.
yes, and we get out and we ride them all the time. You know, it'll be. I have the luxury of having my office at the shop,
Right.
And which is kind of, it was destined to be like that. I actually planned it, and you know, it'll be a nice day, and I'll go, hey, why don't we take a bunch of old shovel heads or pan heads out for a ride? We'll just go putt around for a couple hours and come back, and it's, you know, it's just really good therapy. Or, you know, we've got a couple of really high horsepower bikes with some pro chargers and turbos and things on them. Hey,
These are street bikes.
These are all street bikes, and we'll say, hey, come on, let's go out and burn one up. Like we built one for Porsche, a turbo bike for Porsche.
Like like Porsche car company.
Porsche, the car company, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool build.
And they wanted it turboed.
We made it turbo. That thing it's a monster. It's about 220 horsepower. That thing will just get up and go.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. So I guess you're into the horsepower as much as the vintage bikes, huh? I didn't realize where you went on the street. Like, you know, how far the bike range was. You know,
we build everything. We build choppers, bobbers. We were into, you know, the big wheel baggers when, you know, everybody was building big wheel baggers. We're into the Cholo style soft tails with the air ride.
Yeah, that's so huge now.
And everything. So we've built, I don't know, 4 or 5 of those. You know, we were building the baggers. The first bagger I built was probably 15 or 16 years ago, when a 23-inch front wheel was a big wheel, and, you know, we stretched it and raked it and put 150 horsepower into this 88 cubic inch B motor, and rode it out to Sturgis. It's a pretty cool bike, and you know, we're always into the big horsepower. So then we, you know, one day I said, yeah, we haven't built a 30-inch front wheel, so we built this massive 30-inch front wheel bagger, and we put 300 horsepower in it. Trask helped us put some big turbos on this bike, and we had to detune it down to about 180 horsepower. You couldn't ride it. You know, that air ride front and back. And
was this an M8 or a twin cam?
No, it's a twin cam.
Wow.
Yeah, and we always start off with the 103s. For some reason, the 103 motor, you can hot rod it way better than you can all the other ones, and you know, we'll port it, polish it, you know, stroke it. We're a thing about, it's got to be over 100 horsepower, or we don't ride it on the street, unless it's an old shovel that, you know, is all patinaed and kind of looks cool anyway. And then in our car builds and our hot rod builds, it's, unless it's 1,000 horsepower, we don't drive it. So we make sure everything gets up to about, you know, we turbo. We like the superchargers, so, you know, we put a lot of Whipple superchargers on cars and trucks and pretty well everything. We've got a 65 C10 that's going to the SEMA show this year. Cool. It's been a 3-year build. You know, it's all hand built, completely hand built. It's a lay frame, so it sits right on the ground. And we had the frame actually built by it's a
Roadster shop.
No, a company out in New Mexico. It'll come to me in a minute.
Okay.
Apache Junction, New Mexico is where they're from.
Okay.
And Porterbuilt. So Porterbuilt built it for us. Really cool build. Put an LSX in it with a Whipple supercharger, 1,000 horsepower stroker. It's awesome. It's pretty cool, and you know, we hand built the entire truck, and you know, we're pretty excited to get that out into LA this year, out into Vegas this year, and we've got a 59 Caddy that we're doing. It's going to be a low rider. It's I'm only the third owner. It's never ever seen paint, so we're going to be the first ones to have the original paint on. So we're chopping that, and we're going to put that on bags, and we'll just put a cool 500 cubic inch LS and probably an LS3 in that one, and put it on air. And I'm building that for my daughter, actually.
Okay.
As a present for my daughter. And then we've got Suicide Door, Lincoln, 67 Lincoln we're doing. And, the Lincoln people will get all, crazy over this, but we're putting a Hellcat motor in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're going to put a 707 horsepower supercharged Hellcat motor in a 4-door Lincoln ragtop. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This build, yeah.
Damn, that's a lot of horsepower for that old chassis, man.
You know what?
In a convertible.
It'll tape it. It's all about what it's got in it. We're not going to race it, but it's just going to be cool, right?
Yeah.
And then we've got a 47 Pontiac that we're building for Sick Week for the Dragon Drives. It's got a 427 stroker in it with a great big blower on it. From the top of the blower to the oil pan is 4 feet tall, so it's pretty cool. So we're getting that ready for September for the Dragon Drive.
Was that the Hot Rod Power Tour?
Hot Rod Power Tour, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
have you ever participated in that?
No, but I can tell you, in Ontario, the province that I live in, they have the Ontario Hot Rod Association has a power tour, and we're one of the stops. So our shop is one of the stops. So just a little plug for the Ontario Hot Rod Association.
Cool.
Their main stop on the Saturday is at our shop. So we'll probably, they said, hey, is there anywhere to eat? Yeah, don't worry, we'll feed you. So we'll have a big barbecue going. We'll have all the everything out there and set up a few little things for them to see. So looking forward to having them visit us. Yes.
Yeah, I saw some of your videos online. I was watching them last night when I got home. And you seem like a pretty cool guy to work for after hearing, hey, let's take a break and go for a ride for a couple hours. And then I saw some of your videos. I guess on Fridays you just buy everyone lunch.
Yeah, we do
all
it
catered.
Every Friday we're like, okay, we everybody from the shop, we go and we go out in the summertime. Lots of times we'll barbecue, but every Friday, we go out, we have lunch, and it's just something we started. And we just continue it, every week. And it's the people that call that work. It's fun. They're fabricators. We don't have any schedules. It's everything we build is for me. We don't build to sell. So everything goes in my collection. So there's really no.
Are you open to offers after these things are complete?
No. It's a private collection, and we build them for the collection. And
wow.
I've had to beat people away that are going, I really want to buy that motorcycle. We were down at the World Series of Pro Mod event that Drag Illustrated put on in Bradenton a few weeks ago, and I had a pretty cool white bagger there, and this guy came up, I'm not kidding you, 5 or 6 times. He goes, I don't care how much, I want the motorcycle. And I said, I'm not going to sell it to you. And so finally he sent his son, and the son sits down and he's going, okay, listen, my dad's 81. He really wants this motorcycle. I said, I don't care how old he is, I'm not selling it to him. I said, it's not for sale. We'll pay whatever you ask. I said, I don't want to sell him the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I sold a motorcycle one time to a guy in Moscow, and I regretted it. And and it was a beautiful 1994 Heritage Nostalgia. Absolutely, it was all hand polished. It like the motor was all polished. This thing was beautiful. And I was at a bike show, and a guy came up, and like they always do, hey, I'll offer you blah 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 for that motorcycle.
Right.
So I'm at a bike show, and this guy comes up and he goes, hey, I'll pay you this much money for that motorcycle. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. I said, sure. Then
how old were you at the time?
I was probably in my 30s. I was in my 30s.
Yet?
Oh yeah, I was in my 30s. But it was just a stupid number,
right.
And I'm like, at the time I probably had 4 or 5 motorcycles, and said sure, not thinking. He shows up at my door 2 hours later with a wad of cash, and I go, Oh, yeah, I can't accept cash because I don't know if it's counterfeit. So you got to go to the bank and get a bank draft. Goes to the bank, gets a bank draft, comes back, goes in. And I'm like, well,
Now you got to do it.
I have to. So I sold it, and he goes, oh, can I borrow the license plate? No. So he had to go get a temporary tag. And so he I almost drops it at the end of my driveway, and off it went to Moscow. And after that, I said, I'm never, ever going to sell the motorcycles that I really like. So I never have since then.
Wow.
I just build them and keep them and put them in the collection and ride them. And, we ride all the time. Like, in the winter time, I do a staff retreat to Key West every year. So cool. We take the guys from the shop and their wives, and we go to Key West for a week. So we'll trailer all the bikes down to Miami, wow. leave the trucks at the casino, and then we ride down to Key West and spend a few days in Key West. And it's kind of a lot of people have to put in a lot of personal time because of the racing.
Right.
You're gone weekends, you're traveling and all these things. So this is my way of saying, you know what, I really appreciate, the dedication that you put into doing this. So we do this every year. We just have a ball doing it. And it gives us a chance in February to ride where, it'll be snowing, it'll be minus 40 degrees where we live. And, we just get on a plane and go to Miami and ride motorcycles through the Keys, which is a lot of fun. So,
awesome.
We're a family. People get paid, but it's a family atmosphere. I really care about everybody that's there, and the level that they're allowed to, their creativity. It's art. What we build is art.
Right.
It's pure art. Like, we'll get together and we just, a build we were doing, we had the wrong shade of black on everything. That was my fault. I go, I don't like, I change it all. So we had to change everything. And it just didn't look right. So then when we changed it, we went to a matte black. Mm-hmm. Perfect. We hit a home run with it. But there's a lot of input. It's the guys show up every day and it's fun. It needs to be fun, and it's a pretty cool thing.
Sounds like no other shop I've ever heard of.
It's pretty cool.
Sounds awesome.
So when we built it, I own a fairly large construction company, and so always kind of thinking out of the box. I was only allowed to build 15,000 square feet for the shop, but I knew I needed 18,000. So what I did is I built the structure out of shipping containers. Mm-hmm. So the upper level is all storage with garage doors, so that I have 3,000 square feet of storage, and then the lower level is all like tire machines and things like that we use every day. And so it's a pretty cool shop. I'll send you some pictures and video of it. It's like no other shop you've seen.
Yeah,
cool.
I've seen some of the videos online.
Yeah.
And now I know where those shipping containers come from. I saw that. I was like, that's such a fucking cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah. Well, we use them in downtown Toronto where we build skyscrapers as overhead protection for people to walk. You know how in the city here you see scaffold and everything?
Right.
Well, we actually link them together and put lights in them and everything, and that's,
use them as bridges or whatever.
That's what we use them for, right? So then I took that and I'm going, these things are pretty structural. And then I was working with a structural engineer friend of mine. I said, I'm going to build this building like this. He goes, what a great idea. So we did, and it's pretty cool inside. Like it from the outside, it looks like a horse barn because the area we live in has a lot of horse barns there. So it's kind of tucked in the woods. You can't see it from the road, but from the outside, you'd think it was a horse barn. When you get on the inside, I hired a graffiti artist, Duro the Third, just a plug for Duro the Third, who's a really good friend of a big graffiti guy down in California. I can't remember his name, Cartoons, or his name's something like that.
Okay.
Big name guy. So he came and I wanted graffiti art in this big block wall we had. So we were just sitting having a beer one night, and I said to my son, I need a graffiti artist. Well, the guy that was sitting there goes, I know a guy. So he calls the guy. The guy comes out and he looks at it. he actually did all the graffiti inside. It looks really cool. It suits the shop so
cool,
well.
Man. Yeah, I'd like to see pictures of that.
It's really cool. Yeah. So he put, Big Daddy Roth, the Rat Fink, and because we're into drag racing and everything else, and actually a big plug out for the PDRA. We're racing the Professional Drag Racers Association series this year. We've got our first race coming up in Benson, North Carolina next weekend. So we've got you heard it here first. We've got a brand new car that we're going to unveil next week.
Can I say what it is?
Yeah.
Is it the ZL1?
It's a ZL1, 2022 ZL1, 3,800 horsepower, Noonan powered, Hemi in it. We're looking forward to putting some good licks down with that. Our 67 Mustang, unfortunately, in Orlando last weekend, it hit the wall, so we're gonna rebuild it and get it back on the track maybe later this year. But we've got this new car that we're hoping to really do some big things with.
Cool. So the ZL1, is that like the class you're running? Do you have to have is it like a door slammer class?
Yeah,
what class will that be?
So we run it's the Pro Mod class.
Pro Mod. Okay.
So they call it Pro Boost in the PDRA, and it's a fiberglass body, right, on a tube chassis frame that was built by Bickle Racing.
Oh, okay.
So Jerry Bickle build, and Jerry's actually building us a 1969 Camaro Pro Mod right now that we're going to have in Jerry. October, it's got to be ready.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, then that's what we're doing. We've got a Challenger being built for Super Street by Mike Carboni in Connecticut. So a little plug for Mike Carboni. He's going to build a Super Street car for us with a Gen 3 Hemi in it. It'll run about 2,200 horsepower. Wow. And we'll run that in the Super Street class. And so we've got lots of race cars that we take to the races.
When you go to all these races, when you load up the ZL1, are you going to be bringing a drag bike too in the same race rig?
No. So the drag bike runs in the AHDRA series and the AMA series.
Okay.
And he runs basically off weekends that we run. So he's got I think his first race is coming up in Norwalk in May. So that's a AMCA race, I believe. And he'll run 4 or 5 of those races this year. And he's got the bike, he's got it tuned. We stripped it down and magnafluxed the frame because it takes so much torque, and repowder coated it and completely rebuilt it. Put a new Pro Charger on it. So he's got that thing dialed in to low 9s right now, and we'll just see what happens. He's got to get it out and do some testing, but Chris Langtree, Crank we call him, he pilots that. And then we also have our Bonneville Salt Flats bike that we'll be trying to, we're trying to get it to 200 mile an hour. Again, it was a joint venture deal between Rick Dozer with the Shade Tree Racing and Choppers and Smokies Garage. We did a joint venture about 3 years ago, and it ran 156 miles an hour at Bonneville. But since then, we've put a large, really large, I think a 90 mil turbo on it. Trask built it. Took the bike out to Trask in Arizona. They tuned it for us out there. So we're trying to get 200 mile an hour out of this bike this year. Awesome. And it's piloted by Mad Dog and Rob Moore. And so we're trying to get this. We're pretty diversified in a lot of different racing venues.
Cool, man. Is that the bike Dozer was telling me? You guys also put a belly pan on it now? And
yes, sir.
Really get it ready to rock and roll at high speed.
Well, tried to make it more aerodynamic, and adding all that horsepower, we had to get it more aerodynamic because, from what we're told, from the 175 to the 200 mile an hour, it's a really big step.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get to 200. We'll see how close we can get to that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people really underestimate what it takes to go 200 on the salt.
Yes.
It sucks up like 20% of your power.
At least that.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
man. Like
Yeah.
a 200-mile-an-hour bike on the salt will probably go 250 on the street.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, because of the drag. Yeah.
How many bikes go 250 miles an hour?
Not too many.
Almost none. Except, drag bikes
Yeah.
and MotoGP bikes maybe,
Yeah.
but I don't even know if they can. I don't know.
Well,
But it's a lot to do 200 on a bike. I don't think people understand it.
Well, we're hoping to get that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
we'll see
I know you guys are capable of it.
We'll see where we can get. So
Yeah.
pretty excited about that. So yeah, we've got a pretty full race schedule this year, and knock on wood that everything works out for us. And we had a little mishap there in Orlando last week, but Scott Wildgust, our driver in the pro mod, he happened to get it up on the rail, and basically the supercharger wouldn't shut off, so it was wide open. So him being such a good driver, he got it over onto the wall, and finally we got it stopped. But he's a little sore, but nothing serious. You can fix cars, but you can't fix people very well. So
Yeah.
pretty lucky with that.
Yeah. Yeah, racing's a lot safer than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
know.
And you know what? You can't skimp on safety. It's
No.
You get one shot at it, and even the class I run with my Red Eye Challenger, we ended up winning the Hemi shootout with it last weekend. That thing does 150 mile an hour and a quarter. It's a street car.
Right.
So we put a roll cage in it, and we put parachutes on it and everything else. You could still, you could do a quarter-mile pass at 150 and go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a coffee. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
that's the only one of the race team that you actually run, right?
yes, yeah, that's the one I run.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
And did you buy that brand new, like the ZL1, and just cut it right apart, make it a race car?
Yeah, it never went on the street. It's got a license plate, but it's insured because of the class we drive. But it's never been driven on the street.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah.
I think that's everyone's dream, is to either buy a brand new car or a brand new motorcycle and just don't even put miles on it. Just chop it right up, man.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
I love it.
We do that a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever think, how old are you now? You got to be in your 50s, right?
Yeah, I'm 58, and I'll be 59 this year. And, people ask me, hey, when are you going to retire? I go, well, what do you do when you retire? Well, you get up whenever you want, you do whatever you want during the day, and nobody has any restrictions over you, and you travel, and you have fun in life. I go, well, I guess I'm retired, because that's what we do every day.
You're pretty much there.
We're there. So when we built the new shop, I intentionally built my office there, and we finished it during COVID, and then COVID changed things. So we have an office in downtown Toronto, and right at the main intersection of Yonge and Bloor, and I spent 25 years driving to and from the city every day, and then with COVID, everything became virtual. So I can actually get more work done every day working there virtually. I could attend between 8 and 10 meetings a day virtually. Right. But to drive to the city, I might do 2 meetings in a day just because of travel and getting in and out. So, it's actually made me more effective as, the owner of the company, being in more meetings, but yet I'm in a meeting at the shop where, as soon as the meeting's done, I can go back out in the shop and hang out with the guys and smoke cigars and, just, have a good time. Take my 2 dogs, Max and Beretta, to work with me every day, and we're two miles from where we live, so we get up 5 o'clock in the morning, and we still go to the shop every day, but we're nice and close, and it's a relaxed atmosphere, and we still travel and do everything that everybody else would do. So call it retired, call it whatever you want, but it's more effective, and it's more fun.
Right. So the reason I asked your age, did you ever think when you were a kid, when did you get into cars? When did you really start going fast?
Well, when I was 15, I bought a 1969 Ford Falcon with a 351 Cleveland. Okay. And I kind of started with that, and, always wanted a fast car. I had, Corvettes and everything else in my early 20s, and just got into hot rods, and motorcycles has been something I've always had.
Yep.
You know, always had a Harley, and you know, just the passion for the ride, and the thrill of the open road, and the camaraderie that you get. Just it suited my personality.
Yeah.
So yeah, always been the biker guy. Got into racing a little late in life. I was probably in my early 50s when I got into racing seriously.
Right.
And just happened to meet up with Scott Wildgust 4 or 5 years ago, and we just hit it off. And he was always an established racer, and I wanted to get into bigger, higher end racing, and he allowed me to do that. And at one point we were taking 7 race cars to the racetrack, the big rigs, and the
double decker trailer.
We had a few double deckers. We were like a circus heading down the road. It was actually pretty funny. Truckers would be calling us on the road, and where do I buy a T-shirt? As we're driving down I-75.
Yeah.
So then they're buying T-shirts online as we're driving down the road. So everything we have is it's meticulous. It's all well groomed, and it's very professional. So when we set up our pit, of course we have a big tent. We have smokers and grills, and Mike, who drives the one Kenworth, he's our chef, so he's cooking at the racetrack, and we're just a really close-knit family, but it's a lot of fun going on the road. It's, you get 5 or 6 rigs heading down the road at the same time, and it turns people's eyes, and love that when we pull in for fuel, right? They're just cha-ching, 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 right?
Fucking $10,000 fuel bill.
Well, it's $3,000 a stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
$3,000 a stop.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is wild, man.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun.
One of the reasons I asked that is when you were a kid, man, did you ever think that streetcars, like turnkey streetcars, could make 1,000 horsepower?
No, sir.
Or bikes, 300, 250 horsepower from a fucking V-twin?
Not a chance.
It's wild, man.
Not a chance. Like we've taken some really cool stuff and made a lot of horsepower out of it, but they just Dodge just brought out the Challenger, the 170.
Yeah, 1,000 horsepower.
It's 1,000 horsepower, and it runs on ethanol, and you can take it to the track and run an 890, and at 156 mile an hour. Well, we produce 1,400 horsepower in the red eye, but you're pushing 4,700 pounds down the track, so you need more horsepower. Well, they've stripped that thing out. I think it's 3,500 pounds or something like that. So it's 1,200 pounds lighter. But you can go and turn the key or push the button, and down the track you go. So I would never have known that. You didn't even hear of 1,000 horsepower when I was that's 40 years ago.
Right.
You wouldn't have heard about it.
Yeah, even big blocks with like a 671 on it. It'd be insane to make 600 to 800 range.
400 horsepower was big.
Right, that was like the benchmark.
The 400 horsepower. If you had 400 horsepower and you ran a 13-second quarter mile, you were the bomb.
Right.
Now, if you're not running low 9s or high 8s, in a street car.
Yeah.
Street car.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, when I was growing up, man, like if you heard of a 12-second streetcar, it was pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
But it almost seemed like overnight streetcars shot into the 10s.
Well, that's because Fast and Furious came out.
It went so fast.
So as soon as Fast and Furious came out, this is true. As soon as Fast and Furious came out and they go, all 10-second cars,
right.
Well, they set the benchmark, right?
Right.
And then they've got Eleanor out there, and they've got all these other cars, and they're 10-second cars, and then you get the little tuner cars that are 10-second cars, and
that's another thing I never thought would have happened. Like when I was growing up, I was always into muscle cars. I still have my first car, '69 Camaro.
Yeah.
Like 3 houses down, a kid and his brother that grew up a few houses down from me, they were into the tuner cars and stuff. I'm drawing a blank on his name because I lost touch with him, but he's travels all over the world now, and he's into the exotic cars, Lambos, Ferraris. He's a very famous tuner. But dude, they were always into the tuner cars, and I was like, there's no fucking way these things are ever going to catch a muscle car. And they did almost overnight.
These tuner cars, like World Series of Pro Mod had a class there. These things are running like 6-7 seconds in the quarter mile.
Yeah,
like it's
wild.
Crazy what they're doing with it. 4 cylinders.
I know, it's crazy.
Listen, I don't want to cut you off, but
we're time restricted.
Yeah,
here?
we're pretty well timed out here.
All right, man. Yeah, tell them where to reach you.
Yeah, you can reach me at mclark@smokiesgarage.com is my email. Feel free to reach out to me. Smokies Garage on Instagram is exactly what it is, Smokies Garage. And we're on Facebook as well, so they're all tied together at Smokies Garage on Facebook. So reach out to us. And we've got a couple new web pages coming out very shortly. And look for us on YouTube as well. We're doing our first YouTube video on the 14th of April.
Cool. Dude, we'll do a part 2 sometime.
Yes, sir.
There's so much more I got for you.
No problem.
Smokie, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Rob.
All right. See you guys next week.
Yep.